Nintendo claims bumper software sales have reinvigorated the Switch in its latest financials, but that has not stopped the company from lowering the console's full-year sales forecast. According to its fiscal report for the 9 months ended December 31st,
2018
Nintendo now only expects Switch hardware sales to total 17 million units by the end of the financial year, on March 31st.
2019
It had previously anticipated sales of 20 million units. On the handheld front, Nintendo also reduced its full-year 3DS hardware forecast down to 6 million units from 5 million units. Looking at the company's overall performance, net sales rose by 16.4% year-over-year to 997.3 billion yuan, $9.90 billion, while profits increased by 24.9% to 168.8 billion yuan, $1.55 billion, during the same period. Over the past 9 months, 3 Nintendo Switch titles: Super Mario Party 5, 3 million units, Pokémon Let's Go 10 million units, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 12.08 million units, managed to pull in record sales. To help boost Switch hardware, the sales of third-party games also continues to grow steadily, and the Switch now boasts 1 million plus selling titles. Overall, cumulative Switch software sales for the past 9 months clocked in at 19.64 million units, an increase of 109% year-over-year. Those burgeoning software sales gave Switch hardware a shot in the arm, with console sales rising by 19.5% year-on-year to 14.49 million units. In Nintendo's digital business, sales of downloadable titles, download-only software, and add-on content also witnessed growth on the Switch, and combined to bring in digital sales of 84.2 billion yuan, $775.5 million, a year-over-year increase of 95.1%. Lifetime Switch hardware sales now stand at 32.27 million units, while lifetime Switch software sales have reached 163.61 million units. Moving on to the 3DS, the aging handheld saw hardware sales fall by 65% to 31 million units, while software sales also doubled by 64.5% to 11.08 million units. On the mobile front, Nintendo's smart device-related income rose by 14.7% year-on-year to 33.3 billion yuan, $306.7 million. The company partly attributes that increase to the launch of Joggly Last, which reportedly grossed around $28 million in its first month on digital shelves. Despite lowering its hardware forecast for both the Switch and 3DS, Nintendo has not revised its overall financial outlook, and still expects to see net sales of 1.2 trillion yuan, $10.6 billion, and profits of 165 billion yuan, $1.46 billion, by the end of the financial year, on March 31st.
2019
The Gamasutra Job Board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Berlin, Germany. Are you passionate about designing killer mechanics, amazing combat features, and delivering exciting gameplay? And we want to hear from you. Toadman Interactive Berlin is seeking a mid-to-senior game designer to join us in defining and building our next hit game for X, PlayStation, and PC. You will be joining a highly talented and diverse team of developers right at the start of our new project. As a key driving force behind game design in the studio, you will be expected to be a creative problem solver, work closely with other departments, own the game's gameplay and balancing, and ultimately help drive the project vision from concept to release. This exciting opportunity to work with a close-knit, creative and friendly team is ideal for an experienced designer looking to move into a senior role and join a rapidly growing company. Responsibilities, knowledge, experience, your application. All application must include a portfolio in the form of a website,
PDF,
a video. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. Hey game makers, do not forget, Game Developers Conference organizers have released results of the 7th Annual State of the Industry Survey, revealing major trends in the game industry ahead of GD 2019 in March. The survey compiles responses from nearly 4,000 game developers, and it contains some intriguing findings, which may help us better understand where the game industry is headed. Notably, last week we highlighted the fact that only half of the data surveyed think game industry workers should unionize, though only 21% of respondents thought they actually will. We also saw that many devs do not feel Steam justifies its sizable 30% cut of revenues. But there is a lot more interesting data in the full report, including some detailed breakdowns of how devs feel about the various consoles on the market today. Today, we'll dive a bit deeper to look at how devs are feeling about Nintendo's new console, and how well they say their games perform on it relative to other platforms. The State of the Industry Survey is the 7th entry in the ongoing series of yearly reports and serves as a snapshot of the game industry, illustrating industry trends ahead of DD 2019. Organized by DD 2019 takes place March 18-22 at the Moscow Convention Center in San Francisco, California. Since the projects you work on do not always reflect your true interests, we asked devs to tell us which platforms, if any, interest them most. 60% of respondents said they are interested in the PC, 45% said the Nintendo Switch, and 38% said PlayStation 4. That's significantly more that focus on the Switch than with last year, when just 36% of respondents said they were interested in it. After a strong launch year, it seems Nintendo's latest console has carved out a market for itself that interests more game makers than any other console. To get a sense of how well devs are doing on the Switch, we asked survey respondents whether they launched a game on Nintendo's new console, and how it had performed on the Switch relative to other platforms. The number of respondents who have launched a game on Switch is small, 13%, though that's still roughly double the 6% of respondents in last year's survey who said they made a Switch game. This year 10% of respondents say they are working on their first Switch game right now, and 31% say they are considering making a Switch game. Among those who said they launched a game on Switch, the largest share, 83%, said they could not compare how their game had done on Switch compared to other platforms, either because they do launched exclusively on Switch, or for some other reason. Nearly 1 in 5, 25%, of respondents who had launched a game on Switch said it had sold better on Nintendo's new console than on other platforms, while 20% said their Switch sales were average and 12% said their game actually sold worse on Switch than other platforms. When we compare these results against last year's survey, we see a small but significant uptick in the number of devs who say they have made out on making a game for Switch and the number of respondents who say they cannot compare their Switch sales against other platforms, perhaps signaling a recent rise in the number of devs making games exclusively for Nintendo's new console. The full survey, which includes lots more detail on how and why devs are spending money on their games, their preferences for iOS versus Android,